Hey guys, I want to run you through some of my rehabilitation today. So as you can see off the bat, this is me doing box jumps and single leg jumps to get myself prepared for basketball before I had my more recent injuries. Unfortunately, I got injured again, so there's me walking backwards to work on my range of motion before ACL and meniscus surgery. So after surgery, your quad loses its ability to fire the quad muscles. This is called arthrogenic muscle inhibition, where your brain limits the firing of the muscles around the joint as a protective mechanism to prevent further injury. So here I'm using neuromuscular electrical stimulation to remind the brain that those muscles still work. Here I'm working on strengthening my shin muscles around the knee, and then I get into some extension work. So I have my leg elevated with support at the ankle and weight over the knee to pull it down and stretch it straight again. Then I'm doing some kicks with the foam roller and weight to again support the quad activation and extension. Here I get into some flexion with the yoga ball and then with the strap to really try and promote that bend in the knee for my range of motion. I'm doing some mini squats on the Bosu ball here to help with my balance and stability while also doing some strengthening. Part of the recovery process is also making sure that you're keeping the rest of your body strong in order to support the injured area properly. You can see here some core exercises I do. Having a strong core is important because your core muscles are used in nearly every movement. We can't leave out the upper body, so here we have some arm, back, and shoulder exercises, keeping the upper body strong because we don't want any more injuries. Even though leg day is better, we gotta show the arms some love too. I like to do some calisthenics and weight training. It also gives me something else to focus on the days my legs need some time to recover. And then, of course, I have to go to the court and make sure my shot is still beautiful before we get into this interview. Okay, hello. My name is Diomedes de la Rosa, and today I am with this wonderful woman here, and I am going to let her introduce herself, and we're going to interview her. And without further ado, what is your name, occupation, and how long have you been practicing for?
All right, my name is Courtney Budd. I'm a physical therapist at Cooper University Hospital here in Glassboro. I've worked as a physical therapist for almost 25 years and typically in orthopedics and sports medicine trauma care.
Okay, so why did you choose physical therapy? What inspired you?
Well, like yourself, when I was in high school, I had an injury and then I was in a physical therapy office rehabbing, and I thought this looks kind of interesting and fun. So I pursued education to work in this field after having experiences myself and volunteering in a couple offices.
Okay, what is a piece of advice that you wish all your patients followed?
I think the most important thing for all of us is to try and practice best health practices in terms of long term longevity, exercise, overall wellness, eating well, drinking water, hydration, proper sleep habits. That tends to be challenging for all of us.
But it's very important. Okay, what is a piece of advice you would give to someone who wants to join this field?
I would say definitely volunteer in a couple different settings, get exposed to the atmosphere, and educate yourself on in terms of how much education you would have to do, and talk to therapists and people in your family and just see if it's the best fit for you before you spend a lot of money going to school.
Okay, and what's your favorite part about being a physical therapist?
I would say it's a nice atmosphere to try and help people get back to their activities that they want to do. And especially when you have a nice team like we do, when everyone works together, including the doctors and the other therapists, to get people back to their normal lives.
And last but not least, what is something that you've learned from this field that you now apply in your own life, like day to day?
I think that it reminds me to exercise and take care of myself, especially when you see people who have injuries that maybe weren't in the best shape and it's really hard for them to recover because they're already starting off in poor health. Um, and just to have gratitude every day for our ability to move.
Hmm. Okay, and do you have any questions for me?
What class is this for?
What class is this for? This is for my senior project. So at the end of the year, we have to write an essay, present slides, and do a standalone. So part of my standalone is going to be this interview, along with clips I have of my recovery and my progression.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's not specifically for a class, but it is for a project that I need to graduate.
All right, that's very important. So, one more question for you.
Yeah, however many
You've
questions.
done a lot of physical therapy. What have you learned on your rehabilitation journey?
So I would say the number one thing is definitely how you said, to have gratitude, like to be just grateful that you can get up and move your body, because you don't really understand like the blessing that it is until it's taken away from you, especially so abruptly. So I think definitely just walking with gratitude every day, and hmm, definitely like keeping consistent and exercising and being disciplined in the journey, because it's not a straight path. Obviously, it's a very
Hmm.
rocky one actually, and yeah, you're not gonna have the motivation to do it every day, but it's definitely important to put discipline over motivation so that you can actually see the results that you want.
Very well said.
Thank you.
All right.
Any more questions?
No, no, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for partaking.
My pleasure.